Hey guys, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I've been covering Mike Tyson's 2020 comeback in a series of videos about why I think he should fight again, as well as his speculated opponents, a breakdown of his upcoming fight with Roy Jones Jr. once it was officially announced, and then the possible cancellation of that fight. Well, the fight, or exhibition, or whatever you want to call it, finally happened. So in today's video, I'll do a quick summary, breakdown of the fight, and essentially answer the question, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., was it worth it? For Tyson and Jones, I'd say yeah. It's been reported that Mike Tyson got $10 million for the fight. Of course, this money wasn't the motivation for him. He was never in it to get richer. Rather, he had more selfless reasons and planned to give it to charity from day one.
I want to go to the gym and get in shape to be able to box 3 or 4 round exhibition for some charities and stuff.
Roy Jones Jr. got $1 million, which may only be 10% of Tyson's purse, but Tyson was a draw. Tyson is what sold the fight. We haven't seen him since 2005, and he really caught the world's imagination when his explosive training footage went viral earlier this year. He had many of us asking, imagining, and even believing in him showing the world how great of a boxer he is, once again. People even speculated if he could legitimately fight for the title again against much younger and larger men, much larger than any of the men he faced in his heyday. He's always been a smaller heavyweight fighter after all. Tyson's comeback was planned as an exhibition fight from day one, and when Roy Jones Jr. was initially officially announced as his opponent, many were happy he would be fighting a legitimate skilled boxer. This was a fight people were clamoring for nearly 20 years ago, and even Jones called out Tyson 17 years ago. I guess better late than never. Now the rules were interesting. They'd be wearing the larger 12-ounce gloves, but at least not the headgear that was initially reported. The fight would be 8 rounds, with each round being 2 minutes apiece, a third shorter than the typical 3-minute rounds, which would of course favor Mike Tyson, whose cardio has never been his strength in the ring.
Sometimes that 2 minutes felt like 3 minutes.
There would be no official winner, with both men getting custom belts after the bout, essentially participation trophies. The pay-per-view was priced at $50, which is on par with several of the bigger boxing pay-per-view events and less than the $65 UFC pay-per-view. In my opinion, the curiosity factor and spectacle alone was worth the price of admission.
You got me curious.
Neither man was expected to, or rather supposed to go for the knockout, though I don't think anyone really believed that.
No such thing as an extra. They are going to hurt each other.
And Tyson himself said he was going to hit with bad intentions.
I'm going to protect myself and throw punches with bad intentions at all times.
And if either man got badly cut, the fight was supposed to be called. Essentially, if this happened, the fight would already be over. The ref had a tough decision to make during the fight, as he knows fans wouldn't be too happy and feel that they wasted $50 if the fight got cut short. But it's not like anyone who bought any of Tyson's pay-per-views in his younger days thought or expected the fight to last very long anyway. So how did the Tyson vs. Jones exhibition fight actually play out? As expected, Tyson brought the fight to Jones, who ended up clenching the majority of the fight and was on his back foot. Tyson landed some good shots. You see a good left hook to the head here, followed up to the body, and then a right hook here. So there were definitely some good clean shots Tyson landed. As far as Jones go, his defensive skills were on full display, at times keeping Tyson at bay with his no-look jab. More often than not though, he had to resort to the clinch and tie up Tyson. He actually landed a few decent shots, and Tyson even pointed out the hook that landed during the post-fight interview. Later in the fight, during round 7, expecting Tyson to keep charging forward, Jones started to throw a flurry of punches, hoping to catch Tyson on the way in, but Tyson was too smart for that tactic. Relaxed nearing the end of the fight in round 8, Jones would even display some of his playful antics. Overall, the fight was worth watching. 3 former WBC champs put the fight as a draw, likely causing a lot of people who bet on it with DraftKings a lot of money. 72% of them had the fight for Tyson, nearly all of them by way of KO or TKO. I know a lot of people were expecting, or at least wanting to see Tyson give us a knockout, and leading up to the fight, a lot of people were worried about the safety of Roy Jones Jr. During the post-fight interview, Tyson made a good point.
I'm afraid I might get, why nobody care about my ass?
Right?
I've been fighting 15 years, he stopped fighting 3 years ago, and everybody worried about his ass.
I'm actually happy with how the fight played out. Both men gave us a competitive match. Tyson showed he had no problem going the distance. Jones looked a little winded at times, however, likely the result of 3 different factors. One, as Jones says himself, the body shots he took.
Body shots definitely took a toll. The body shots are what make you exhausted.
2, he just came into this fight bigger, weighing 210 pounds. He's not a large guy, not a natural heavyweight. In fact, he started his professional career in the 150s, and when he beat John Ruiz for the heavyweight title, he only weighed 193 pounds. And 3, he was on his back foot playing defense the whole fight. That'll definitely tire you out more so than being on the offense. I'm glad neither man got seriously hurt or injured. They have a combined age of 105 years, and it was nice to see them do what they still love, at a high level no less. It's depressing not to be able to do what you love.
I can't play tennis, I have no reason to live.
Even Sugar Ray Leonard, boxing legend and one of the commentators during the fight, who of course isn't fighting or even thinking about fighting at 64 years of age, but he still trains, he's still able to do what he loves. Both Tyson and Jones are likable individuals, so I don't think a lot of us wanted to see either man get pummeled and hit the canvas like Nate Robinson did against Jake Paul. Anyway, let me know in the comments section what you guys thought about the fight. Were you satisfied or did you want to see blood? Speaking of blood, make sure to check out the last video I did on why Bloodsport's the greatest martial arts movie of all time.